Mr. Williamson, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I'm here for the National Grid petitions. There are a few that Vaz I'm here for as well.
Okay. So Vaz, how do you pronounce your last name? Yes, you are. I can see it on your file. Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 27, 2024. This meeting is being conducted as a hybrid meeting. You may remotely access the meetings through the digital platforms, Lawrence City Council page and the Lawrence YouTube page. Committee members, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance here in a second, but I do want to take a moment to acknowledge a passing of a police officer, Sergeant Charles Sandin, who passed away, I believe, either late yesterday. And I know that there's a lot of pain and anguish, and especially in the police department. And we feel that pain as well as part of the city family that works hard to try to do the people's business. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that he did pass, and our sympathies go out not only to the members and his friends and family in the police department and others, but also, again, also to his family. So with that, we'll rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have a very ambitious schedule this evening. Committee members, we have 2 meetings worth of stuff. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be out of here at 10. If you want to join me, you're welcome to. I'm out of here at 10, which means we are going to work as hard and as diligently as possible. We're going to, I mean, if there's really a burning question, of course, we're going to be asking those questions. But if things look really good, I'm going to be moving things as fast as I can so we can get as much done as possible. So with that, we do have at least 2. We have another person, the capo is here. But we're going to start off with this. If there's no objection, the police department is here. I'd like to get them out of here. So they have a bunch of items on the first page. They'll deal with liveries and license. Sergeant Pangiatakis, welcome this evening. We'll follow your lead. How do you want to proceed? In order? 7824 Merrimack Transportation?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That was very nice. We lost a really good man yesterday, and Sergeant Charlie Sangin. So the first one is Merrimack Taxi. Merrimack Taxi has submitted all the mandated paperwork, and Lieutenant Bonilla has researched and gone over all the paperwork, and everything appears to be in order. Unfortunately, Lieutenant Bonilla couldn't be here this evening. I'm here representing him, so. No, that's okay.
Do this. We're going to go through this pretty quick. Pass. So we are in charge. One of the things that we do, councilors, is that we're in charge of, as the council, for renewing licenses for taxi cabs and for liveries. This is the committee where that is sent to for vetting. The police department, through Sergeant Bonilla, I don't want to get that right.
Lieutenant Bonilla.
Lieutenant, excuse me, Lieutenant, things are moving. Lieutenant Bonilla goes and vets all of these and then comes down. Why don't we do the first one, soup to nuts, if you will, and then once we have a fundamental understanding of that, we can go through the other ones very quickly, if that's not a problem. So go to the first one, Merrimack Transportation. So you got the floor.
Okay, Merrimack Transportation provided all their paperwork under Chapter 110, Section 5, of the general laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Stand by 1 second, please. Lieutenant Bonilla provided all the inspectional checks, all the quarry checks, and everything was in order for Merrimack Taxi. They operate out of 15 Newbury Street. The business owner is Virgilio Caceres, and like I said, everything appeared to be in order for the year of 2024 with no objections, and we'll file this for your approval.
Merrimack Taxi, things seem to be in order. I'm going to look for a motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any discussions on this first one? We're going to do the next one a little faster, if you can believe that. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Let's just go through them all quickly at this point, Sergeant. Next one will be 7924 Popular.
Popular Taxi is the same procedure through the same chapter and section of the Mass General Laws. Everything was in order. The owner is Jose Cespedes. Again, Lieutenant Bonilla did the proper checks, and all the requirements were met.
Is there a motion to send this up with a favorable recommendation?
Motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
Seconded, motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 8024.
That would be Liberty Taxi, sir. Liberty Taxi again, under the same chapter and section of Mass General Laws, owned by the Nera Cologne. Lieutenant Bonilla, again, checked all their requirements as he is mandated. He came up with no objections, and we're presenting it to the council today.
Looking for a motion?
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next one is document 8124.
5 Stars Express Transportation from 120 Amesbury Street. The owner is Carlos Abreu. All the paperwork submitted. They met all the mandated requirements. Lieutenant Bonilla is setting this up for approval of the council.
Looking for a motion?
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is 8224.
Rio Honda Transport out of 49 Blanchard Street. The owner is Rosemary Rodriguez. Again, they met all the mandated requirements for renewals of 2024. Lieutenant Bonilla checked all the requirements, and were submitted for this council's approval.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation, document 8324.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 84.
Reliable LLC out of 60 Island Street, owned by Luis Fernandez. Again, they met all the mandated requirements, checked by Lieutenant Bonilla, and it's here for your approval today.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Chair. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 8524.
Town Livery Incorporated, 60 Island Street, owned by Kevin Valdez. Again, in accordance with Chapter 110, Section 5 of the Mass General Laws, they met all mandated requirements for the renewals. Lieutenant Bonilla has processed these requirements, and it's up here for your approval.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation.
Is there a second? Seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 8624.
American Taxi out of 530 Broadway. I don't see the owner's name on here, unfortunately. I believe it's Julio Diaz. Again, they met all the mandated requirements for the chapter and section of Mass General Laws. Lieutenant Bonilla has reviewed all this, and it's here for your approval.
Is there a motion?
Motion to transfer full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
Motion made, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 8724.
L&M Transportation, again, meeting all the requirements of Chapter 110, Section 5. They've conducted, we conducted all the mandated requirements for the renewal. Lieutenant Bonilla found it all to be in order. It's here for your approval.
And that's American Taxi, correct?
Yeah, American Taxi.
8724 American Taxi. Is there a motion?
Motion to transfer full council with favorable recommendation.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Yeah, that's all I have. All set? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sergeant.
Again, thank you for the words for Sergeant saying.
Our hearts go out to all of you guys over there. I know it's not easy, so thank you very much. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ladies
You're
and
welcome. We've got some new folks here. We're definitely taking airport up next. CAFO, what are you here for this evening?
The next item.
There is no next item. Amendment 92. We're going to the airport, then we're going to go to you, and I think we're going to be here for the rest of the night with Officer Cano. So, and then we've got the Dr. Gorin, who'll be there right after these guys. If there's no objection, we're going to be taking document off of this is the new business from February 6th, document number 3724 out of order. Is there any objection to that? No objection? Mr. Urena, you have the floor. Welcome.
Good evening, councilors. On behalf of the Lawrence Municipal Airport, I am here with Martin Allen, proprietor of AvPro, who has a proposal to the airport that has been favorably approved by the Airport Commission. What he is looking for today is your support for the board, the commission, the Airport Commission, to entertain a 30-year lease on a note. He's going through financing in order to finance this development. The item before you says 21 years is a typo on behalf of the city clerk's office. It is a 30-year approval or a 30-year support for this proposal. With that, if I may, Mr. Chair, I would like to introduce Martin Allen to give a little bit more background if that's something you'd like to
That is
entertain.
acceptable, and we'll make it brief. Also, Pat, please make a note that the agenda item needs to be edited to say 30 years, not 21. If you could make a note, so when this thing goes to the full council, it says 30, it should say that on the sheet, so we don't repeat the mistake. Yes.
Sure. For background, the airport has the authority to entertain the leases up to 20 years. In this case, Mass General Law, Chapter 90, 51F requires that City Council and the mayor's approval come before the board could continue. We already have had the mayor's endorsement on this, and we just would like to get yours tonight.
And the magic number is 20. Anything over 20, is that what we're here
Over
for?
20, correct.
Over 20.
Anything
why
over
we're-
20, City
That's why we're
Council,
taking the
mayor's-
vote. Got it.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Just real quick.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Excuse me. For some time, we have, first of all, my own company is AvPro Worldwide. You may be familiar with what we do. We're the people who fly the airplanes with the big advertising banners. We're based out of Lawrence Municipal. It's my family business, my two sons and I. We based, as I say, at Eagle East here at the airport, but we are a national company. We have, for some time, had the idea of building hangars at the airport. We approached the manager some time ago, and we got full support of the commission, full enthusiasm. Obviously, it is increased revenue for the airport with the leases. The reason we're before you is to ask for an extension to 30 years because financing for this project, as you can imagine with the banks get nervous with 20 years. It would be very, very beneficial. We already have people in the wings awaiting your decision on this. With that in mind, that's relatively straightforward and self-explanatory, but just if I may, just for general interest, this project, if you, of course, you're familiar with the airport, is being built across from the diner, way over the other side of the airport, what's referred to as a north ramp. There are two projects. One is this unit here, which is a total of 22 2,000 square foot hangars, which typically handle something like a Cessna 182 or a single engine airplane. We're also developing this area over here, closer to the intersection of the runways, which is a corporate structures. 2 4,000 square foot hangars, 1 4,000 square foot hangar here, and 2 8,000 square foot hangars. This will assist with larger airplanes, twins, that sort of twin engine airplanes. So that's the general layout of it and how it's been proposed. Thank you, if you just take that for me, thank you. Again, the corporate side, we have clearance on the footprint here. It may not end up exactly like this, but this is what we have proposed initially. We have some corporate aircraft owners already interested. Depending on the airplane, we'll decide how these larger hangars are laid out. But right now, this is the proposal. So that's basically what it is. We refer to it as the box hangars on the far side and the corporate hangars on this side. And it is imperative to us to have this 30-year lease. And this is why we're before the board at this time.
Any questions by members of the committee? Quick question, this is already received approval from does it need approval currently from the Lawrence Airport Commission?
It has.
Okay.
It has, essentially, yes.
Okay, that's yes or no, so
Yes.
good. Second thing is, I couldn't understand, one was corporate and what was the other
We
section?
just refer to it, sir, as the box hangars.
Box hangar.
Just a separate, because they're not typical T hangars, which is normally what you would see for small airplanes. We have chosen to make these box hangars, literally a box.
So they are in line with the airport's master plan.
Going forward on this, Director, we don't need a public hearing on this, we just need a simple
No,
vote, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Simple vote.
So I'm looking for a motion on this matter. Is there a motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation? Motion made by the vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Just something, a quick comment. Maybe Dr. Gorn might become one of your customers, I think. You still have a plane, Dr. Gorn? Oh, you do? There you go.
Okay, okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Developing the north ramp, an additional 22 hangars.
If you're going to speak for the record, Dr. Gorn, I would ask you to speak on the microphone.
Being a strong proponent of general aviation and having been, having a close relationship with the Lawrence Municipal Airport for 27 years, I think further development of the north ramp would be a economic benefit to the city of Lawrence. General aviation brings in, a lot of private business, and there's always a shortage of hangar space, and so I fully support this, this project.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion's been made and properly seconded. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This is coming up to the next council meeting. That is scheduled apparently for the 19th. That's the schedule. Scheduled for the 19th, so.
Is there an issue with elections?
No, that's for the next meeting, which is now the 19th.
Understood,
Agreed.
understood.
If there's any change to that, you'll be notified, but right now, it looks like it's the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're
and
welcome.
Members of the council.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Good luck. See you at the full council. We are just going to go in order of people who are here. So the next person who I saw here was the CAFO.
Good evening, councilors. I'm here for item 9224, amending the non-union classification plan. So in your packet, you should have a cover letter with Exhibit A, B, C, and D. Exhibit A being the existing non-union classification plan. And Exhibit B, I'd like us to focus on because that has the changes to the plan. And then Exhibit C is the new non-union classification plan, assuming these changes are approved by the City Council. So I could just run through Exhibit B. The changes that we're making is a typo in the word classification, was misspelled. In grade D, there was under the mayor's, the title was incorrect. It was we had administrative aid, communication, and something, can't remember what it was.
Special
And it
projects.
should be communications and special projects. There were two positions, so it's just correcting the ordinance title change. Item number 3 is remove recommended from the column, because they now are the minimum and maximum ranges, so we removed the word recommended. And number 4 is moving the city attorney's position under grade F. Or adding the city attorney to the departments that have a confidential secretary. We excluded that department name under section D. There's I think if I can find it, there's the confidential secretary, and we excluded the position. It's out of F, I'm sorry, F, and you can see we just added the name under the department. City attorney has a confidential secretary. We missed that the first time around. And number 5 is we added the director of police and community relations. Again, this was a position that was already ordinance, but in the initial non-union classification plan, we missed that position, so we just want to recognize it and update the non-union compensation plan to reflect that. Let's see, number 6 is, again, the capital asset project manager position was initially left off the non-union classification plan, so that position has been filled for several years now. It was just inadvertently omitted. Number 7 is just adding, there should be a second and third city attorney under section grade C for the city attorney, so we just added the third assistant. I guess we had the second assistant, but we didn't have the third assistant, so there's really 2 positions there. So that's, again, just correcting a typo. Number 8 is adding assistant superintendent of cemeteries. Position was initially left off in the original compensation plan, but we referenced ordinance 12.20.030, recognizing the assistant superintendent of cemeteries should be on the plan. Safety manager, number 9, was another position that was left off, that was created, and we initially left it off the non-union plan that the council approved. 10 and 11 are Community Development Project Officer 1 and Project Officer 2. These positions were ordinance, but they were initially left off the original non-union compensation plan. And then there's number 12 is move the recycling coordinator from grade F to grade E. We have the grant writer in community development from grade E to grade D. And then the Office of Planning and Development Director moves from grade B to the contract grade, which is per ordinance 268030. And then, and we're lowering the benefits coordinator salary from F to G to be in line with the other employees in that department. So that's, I went through them quickly, but that's in a nutshell. We're correcting a lot of, when we initially did this non-union classification plan, remember we created a new compensation plan based on the Collins recommendations from the old one. And we went through all the positions in the city that were on the payroll and made sure we included them. But there are many positions which were ordinanced. They might have been vacant at the time. Maybe the position was empty or was vacant. And so we missed those positions. So that's what most of these are. They were like the capital asset manager. I don't know how we missed that on the initial council non-union classification plan. The position was long filled. It was included in the Collins Center report. We just didn't get it on the final copy that went to the council. So many of these corrections were submitted to the council back in 22 by the previous, or 23 by the previous Gina LaGreca, the previous personnel director, and they've just been in the committee for a number of times. So I think it's item number 4723. So instead of taking up 4723, I just created and added a couple more changes that I found since then. So this plan should be up to date at this point. We'll be back down to the council if there's any new positions ordinanced or new positions ordinanced after this this vote. If we, so the request is to move this item to the full city council for consideration.
Council Del Rosario?
I would like to excuse myself.
Council Del Rosario is looking to be recused from this discussion and this committee discussion. We will duly note that if we take a vote this evening. Any questions from members of the council? I have a question, but I'll let members go first. Help me understand,
Yep.
Mr. Ianello, the number 14, moving the Office of Planning and Development Director from a grade B to a grade contract.
Yep, per ordinance number.
I get it.
that I
Why
mentioned
we-
there, it
there's
mentions
ordinance
that
there.
the position is a contract position, so,
It says,
yes, it does, yep. Ordinance number 2.68.030, I didn't print a copy of it, but if you have the book in front of you, 2.68.030.
so, for this position, if there is a contract, does the council approve the contract? Does the council does not approve or review the contract? Does that person come before the city council, whoever, if there's an appointment of that person?
Yeah.
And what
I
happens?
don't believe so. I believe it's just the, like the fire chief and the police chief. Well, this position actually will come to the council, I think, if for confirmation. If the position requires council confirmation, is a department head position requiring council confirmation, so it'll be back down to the council
Department heads
then.
do require city council
So
approval.
then this position would be required to come down, to be confirmed by the city council for the appointment.
So that makes sense that you're doing that there. So we've had somebody at that's been paid through.
Right now, we have
Non-contract?
somebody acting in that position. The acting in the position is Dan McCarthy.
And who was there before the last permanent?
I'm going to say Teresa Park. I'm not sure if it was,
It's the gentleman who went to Mass Development, Pedro Soto?
Pedro Soto, I believe, was he was a planning director, which is another item there's a planning director position I'm going to ask to take off if the council could consider it tonight, that'll put that position back. But he was a planning director because it was approved in the budget for the planning director position, but the planning director position was actually deleted when the OPD director was created. So he was erroneously in the planning director position. So tonight, I'm going to ask you, to put the planning director position back. And I have an item, that's a separate item. I'll get that in a second.
All right, we got to move, but I
Pedro
just,
Soto was in that position.
Sure.
But not that particular position.
so my real questions are dealing with regrade high and regrade lower. Those are the ones that I'm more interested in. Everything else seems to be miscellaneous, or the type oversights or
Yep.
corrections of errors. Why are we moving recycling and grant writer? I understand the OPD director, but why are we moving upward, I guess, yes we are, for those two positions?
Well, those positions were originally assessed by the Collins Center, and we had them under, whatever the lower position is, grade F and grade E respectively. And we're just moving them up one because attracting people in those positions I'm going to take the recycling coordinator as an example. Grade F is a high of only 72.8. And that position manages a couple of employees, so they didn't take that into consideration when they graded it. So we moved it up one level because of that. The grant writer position was another one that was grade E, which is a high of 87,000 at the top of the range. And 87,000 to get a grant writer is just not enough money to get a seasoned grant writer. And we do have a seasoned grant writer, and we need to, that position should be, we're just moving it up to the next level to attract somebody in that position. Grant writers, as you may know, they not employees, but grant consultants get a percentage of the grants that they receive, that we receive.
Grade, on the grade lower?
And on the grade lower, that's the, there's a position in personnel, there's, there's 2 employees, they should be at the same level. And one was rated higher than the other, but they're really the same. They have different titles, but they do this, perform the same level of function.
Any other questions from members of the committee? If there's no questions, is there a motion? Motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Send up to the full council. Anything else on the agenda, Captain?
Yeah, could I ask you, we just spoke about the planning, it's item 17122, the planning director. It's been, again, it was approved in the budget last year, but it was presented to the council back in '22 to put the planning director's position back in, and it's been tabled, so I'm just asking if we could take it off the table and take it up. The administration would like to get that position filled. Yep. It's on page 7, I believe, page 7 of the agenda, 17122. So as I mentioned a moment ago, when they created the OPD director, they eliminated the planning director position. It was ordinance, so we're just asking to put the ordinance back in, so that because the Office of Planning Director directs the Planning Department, the Community Development Department, and the Economic Development Department. That's the organizational chart.
All right, I found it. We're looking for this is in the second book, and it's deep in the book, second book. It's the third tab from the end. Capo, you were saying an awful lot, and I'll be honest with you, I was scrambling to try to find this document.
Yeah.
I found it. So now I want to pay attention to what you have to say, because I really wasn't paying, I was looking for the document. So why are we pulling this out now, and what's the purpose? Why?
Purpose is because we can't fill the position until it's basically, we're asking to put it back in the ordinances, because it was, when the OPD director was created, back in 2015 or 16, evidently they eliminated the position in the current ordinances, they eliminated the position of planning director. And so the administration, we want to put the planning director back in because the Office of Planning and Development Director is in charge of the planning department, the community development department, and the economic development department. But right now, the planning department has no one in charge.
So what I'm trying to determine now is this a reorganization?
In essence, yes. I mean, unfortunately, yes, because it was reorged to create the OPD director, but they left off the planning director.
This blue book that talks about reorganizations.
Yep.
And it's not as simple as just approving it. like this?
Well, I think it has to, the position has to be ordinanced again. That's what I think we're asking for. Put it back in the ordinances. I think that's what's in your packet. I don't have the packet in front of me, but. I believe this was submitted by by Gina LaGreca, the previous personnel director, so I think she had all the documentation at the time.
We don't have it here, we have 2 pages.
I don't have it, but yeah, you have 2 pages?
We have more than you do, but that's not a lot.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to determine here, and this is one of those things that we need to drill down a little bit, and tonight's not the night for the drilling.
Okay, yep.
And if we have to drill down, I may ask my colleagues here to table this, just because there may be just too many things to try to go through. But the questions I have are this: so this position is not ordinance, and this is looking to cure that. Is that what you're testifying?
Exactly.
So we have a position that was filled in the past, but was not ordinance. Is that true?
It was ordinanced in the past, and then when they created a new ordinance for the OPD director, in creating that position, they eliminated the planning director position. So now we're asking to put it back.
Mr. Reinel, I'm going to ask my colleagues, of course, we can do whatever this committee wants to do. I'm not prepared tonight, especially with the heft of stuff we got to deal with, to go into more detail on this. I will not be voting in favor of anything going up from this committee on the full council. I would encourage us to make a motion to table, so when we have more time, we can dig in a little bit more into this, because there's too many questions with respect to charters, ordinances, and what the intent was in the past. So I would look for a motion to table this at this point, if the committee's so inclined.
Motion to table.
Motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. No discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This item is tabled. Mr. Ainello, I think we'd be willing to take this up in the next ordinance committee meeting, but just have more stuff.
I'll find all the original documentation. Can I just ask the council for just one more thing, because it's for Dr. Gorn? It's item 3224, it was tabled. It's just to increase the salary for Dr. Gorn. The salary for Dr. Gorn has been like $20,000 for like 30 years. It's a small
If there's no
additional
objection, we'll
amount.
take document 3224 out of order. Is there any objections? No objections? So we're dealing now with document number 3224, increase to the salary of the city position to $30,000. Go ahead, Mr. Ainello.
And that's where it was from 20,000, it's going to go to 30,000. It's been 20,000 for a number of years. I'm sure Dr. Gorn could explain the amount of time that's required, and 30,000 is still pretty low. But that's what the request in the administration is, to at least get the salary up to 30,000.
For those who are saying, why aren't these people more organized? I will tell you that we have not only this big book, we missed a meeting. We have this big book, which has 2 meetings worth of stuff, which is, one meeting alone is substantial. This is twice of it. Plus, as you just saw, we took something out of tabled matters, which is this big book. So it takes us a little while to get through. 3224. I'm still looking for 3224. So thank you. I'm on board. My question, and I don't think this will be a surprise to Dr. Gorn, are there any comps? I want our city physician, regardless of who it is, to be fairly compensated, meaning something that's in the norm of what other like-minded cities like Lawrence are paying their city physicians with the same kind of responsibilities. My document here doesn't have that, but perhaps we have more information that can support this request.
I have a question.
But that's my first question. My second question will go right to you, councilors. My first question is, what other communities have, like us, what do they pay their city physicians?
Absolutely. Thank you, councilors, for letting me come before you. I did my due diligence. I reached out to the health directors of both Worcester, Springfield, and Lowell to get comps. So Dr. Hirsch is the city physician for Worcester. Worcester has a population of 225,000 individuals. His job description is quite similar to mine. He supervises here we supervise over 40 public school nurses. We develop the standing orders for everything from immunizations to asthma treatment to allergic reactions. We are basically in charge of communicable disease control. Specifically in this city, we have active cases of tuberculosis which require direct observed therapy. We oversee that. This is Dr. Hirsch in Worcester does exactly the same thing. We do contact tracing for some communicable diseases such as hepatitis B and C. We run immunization clinics. We do pandemic planning. We chair the Board of Health. Plus, we respond to many, many emails from the citizens of Lawrence on a daily basis. So Dr. Hirsch's salary as a city physician is $70,000. I reached out to the city of Springfield. They just had their city physician, Andrew Balder, just retired. They have an advertisement for a city physician with a salary of $168,863. But this is more of like a health director, medical director. I believe it's more of a full-time physician. The city of Lowell has Dr. Connolly, and they pay him, it's basically an hour, he bills by the hour, and they're paying him $100 an hour for his billable hours. And so that's what I found I'm trying to target comparable cities to Lawrence that have some of the same health challenges, some of the health, some of the same job descriptions, and the one that I found closest to Lawrence was Worcester, Dr. Hirsch making $70,000. My salary when I was brought on by Mike Sullivan, my stipend was $30,000. And during the Lantigua administration, it was lowered to $20,000 because of budget considerations, budget constraints, and it was never returned back to 30s. And I never asked, but I feel like at this point my tasks have increased, and I'm trying to be instrumental in restructuring the health department to more resemble the health departments of other cities that have the challenges that Lawrence has. And that's why I come before you with these comps to make this humble request.
Councilor Santiago.
Can we have an update report about he did it last year?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Can we have an update report what he did last year?
He did?
So are you looking for what Dr. Gorn has done last year, or what other physician? Do you have a report for what you were able to accomplish last year?
I mean, I am instrumental in, the 42 public school nurses are in constant communication with me and work under my license and my malpractice policy. I also oversee the city nurse who does all the TB control and the contact tracing. We have conversations on a weekly basis. I chair the Board of Health and set the agenda. I don't get compensated for that. That is my role as the city physician to lead that committee. We run immunization clinics, not just for COVID-19 vaccine, but for flu shots for both the police and fire department and for senior elder services, the senior center. I've been involved in pandemic planning since the 90s, and when we had our COVID-19 pandemic, I was in daily roundtables with both the hospital emergency planning committee, the emergency room, the ICU, and our city nurse. You know, we have challenges here. I'm very much involved in substance abuse treatment in the city. That is a huge challenge we face. I treat a lot of individuals with substance abuse and have tried to, you know, guide the city in terms of tackling that problem, which is a monumental problem. We also, you know, recruit and retain healthcare providers to come to Lawrence. Lawrence is a community that is hard to recruit primary care doctors, hard to bring people into the city that want to make a long-term commitment, and that's why Lawrence has fallen under the title of health professional shortage area for many years. The challenges are many. I came here in the 90s. I trained in Lawrence at the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center. I continue to reside in Lawrence. I live in Tower Hill, and I work at the 101 Amesbury Street building, but I am at City Hall frequently, and my tasks are many.
That's amazing, that's impressive job you have, but I would like to ask about, you do those kind of the job, but I ask about for the city, not for your record, because you mentioned it, you do it for different center, senior center, school, high school, senior.
That is all part of my job as the city
Yeah.
physician.
Yeah, but I asked about the city, because you wanted the money for physician for the city hall.
I think I'm requesting a salary as the city physician.
Yeah.
Um,
And those you said is your job, you make.
Well, my private job, I don't include that in any way, shape, or form. I'm a primary care family doctor. I have a private clinic. I see, 20 to 30 patients daily. That is not part of my responsibilities as the city physician, but the ones I had mentioned regarding overseeing the public schools, communicable disease, substance abuse prevention, contact tracing, setting the agenda and running the Board of Health meetings, the immunization clinics, that's part of my job as the city physician, not part of my private clinic.
Okay. If one resident doesn't have any insurance and needs to see a physician, how we can recommend them to see you?
In terms of, the state does not deny care immunizations to anybody regardless of ability to pay. So in regards of primary care immunizations, because we are funded by the state, and we provide immunizations free of charge. In terms of primary care, for people that are uninsured, which is few these days in the city of Lawrence, unless you're undocumented, we continue to offer a $50 consult fee, and that's pretty low considering the health center charges. The Greater Lawrence Health Center, which has a very large budget, charges upwards of $180 per consult. So people that have no insurance, we charge $50 in our private clinic. We do run a free clinic. We used to run an immunization clinic at the city for free, but it's always free. I mean, even in my office, the immunization clinic is free.
Do you have a record how many vaccine do you put in for the immigrants? We have a lot of immigrants right now. They don't have any insurance.
I can address the issue with public schools. We have a lot of children coming to Lawrence that are immigrants, that some are documented, some are undocumented, and in order to enter into the public school system, they have to be fully immunized. My role also is to make sure that they have completed their immunization schedule prior to entering into the public school system. That is part of my job description as the city physician. So we are given those vaccines by the state, by MIIS is the state body, and we make sure when they come into Lawrence, they can either come to my office or they can come to our health department. We get them up to date within a matter of weeks.
But the question is because I have the case, they come from another country, and when they went to the physician, they put it the appointment for 3 months, and the kids have to wait like a few weeks to get the vaccine and everything to get ready to go to school.
I think that individual certainly could, I mean, Mr. Del Rosario, Councilor Del Rosario has reached out to me to help immigrants that have come to the city, as he will attest, and I've seen them the next day. So I'm always accessible, and I'm always willing to help. And my goal is not to have these kids sitting at home for 3 weeks, waiting for an appointment to be able to go to school. The most important thing is to get them fully immunized, fully documented, and to get them into the public school system safely. But he can attest that he's called me and asked me to see people, and I've seen them, what was it, the next day or the same day? I think saw them the next day. So I certainly welcome those individuals to call me, call my office. You can always text me. I'd be happy to help.
My last, it is really hard, yeah. I want to say congratulations because you can do it, they do it with love. We don't do it for money. And you need really need the money to do the job. I agree with the salary you ask, okay?
Thank you.
I want to make sure we got the report for the job you're doing.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else wish to speak on this item or motion? Counselor Del Rosario?
No, make a motion. Through you, Chair. Dr. Gorin, I known you for over 20 years, and I would like to thank you. I mean, you brought that up, and I completely forgot. The last patient that I actually talked to you, it was a kid with sickle cells, that's how you call it?
Sickle cell anemia,
Sickle
correct.
cells, and I know we shouldn't talk about it, but you put me in the right path. Now, to give you an update, the kid now is getting treatment every, I think, 6 months, so he's able to go back to the country and then he's coming back in April. So in Boston, somewhere in Boston, they took his case. You put me in the right path, and I want to thank you for that and everything you have been done in the city. I know you sent to the Seed of Hopes. Remember that?
Seeds of Hope, Harvest of Pride, my community garden.
Six of Hopes.
Yeah.
To me, it was the first community garden I ever see in Lawrence.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was.
So with that said, after you did your research, Dr. Gorin, and you saw these amazing numbers in near cities by, didn't you get tempted and said, Mr. Anello, I think we need more, or I'm moving on? Did it go through your mind? And I know your heart, but
I live here, I'm invested in the city, I would be happy with what I'm requesting.
thank you, Dr. Gorin. Thank you. Sure, motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by the vice chair. Discussion? See no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. As a reminder, the next scheduled meeting apparently is on the March 19th.
March 19th, okay.
I believe that's a Tuesday. Yeah,
Thank you, councilors.
great. We do have some more folks that are here. If there's no objection, I'd like to take document number 2224 out of order. Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, document 2224, 15th Annual Olive in July celebration of the Campignon Common, July 17th. We just, July 17th.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, we're going to ask you to make your pitch brief this evening. I don't think there's going to be any problems, so you don't need to have a big sale job, but keep it brief. What's happening on that date while we're looking for the document?
Well,
Go
my
ahead.
name is Eulalia Feliz. I'm the CEO founder of Olive in July. We're going to be celebrating our 15th anniversary. What we do there is something that the same that we do every year, but this year we're going to do an extravagance like event because it's 15 years. We need to celebrate bigger than we used to do. Just that.
I'm just going over your document real quick to make sure everything
Sure.
is in there. So it's on July the 13th.
July 13th.
From
yes.
11, you're going to start the setup at 11 o'clock. Everything will be done by 8:30.
Right.
Yes. As a matter of fact, you all are invited. And you know that you all are working over there. We do a little bit of everything that we had done through the fiscal year for the organization. Usually, we recognize our students, citizenship classes students and ESO classes as well. And other organization comes with us to share the resources that they have in the community to them. And what else? We celebrate
This
kids.
year, we're gonna have extra things. So we're gonna give away more than 700 backpacks for school supplies and toys.
Oh, wow.
It's a
Don't
lot of
say
things,
that all,
amazing.
because then they're not gonna be
We're gonna,
surprised.
yeah, the surprise. We're gonna have a rap for it, we're gonna have some musician, some surprise. That I don't know wanna know what is the surprise. So we're gonna have a clowns, painted face, and other things, right? The surprise.
Question, just to move this along, one of my always concern is I don't want to see a conflict in there. I think that's the Recreation Department has custody of the schedule. Did you get a sign off from them? I may be wrong. Did you go before the Recreation Department and get their sign off? Do they have a sign off? What I don't want is them to sign something else off and then we're coming here, or vice versa.
Recreation Department should sign it when we do the application first, than I believe, well, that's what they used to do before. Every other department sign up.
So, this is our first time doing something like this when we've been reconstituted as a new city council and new ordinance committee. We are in charge as an ordinance committee and as a city council to provide licenses to use our public parks. Not our public streets, not our public ways, not our sidewalks and streets, but our parks, and apparently our buildings. So if someone's using the Buckley Garage for something, it needs to come before us. So we can provide a permit to utilize that. So this is the use of Campagnon Common, which is under the city council's jurisdiction, to go ahead and to offer a permit. Now, what we rely on, and this is not, it's not, since we do it, even if someone said they don't like it, the department heads, we make the license, or the permit, we decide to do the permit. So, but one of the things that we do kind of rely on is that we don't keep a schedule. So it's important that we get, that we understand that there's no other activities taking place at the same location that you want to take place on the common. So to have them after we issue the permit is backwards. We should know before we issue the permit that it is clear, not issue a permit and then you check to see if it's clear. You get the order of stuff? So
Well,
that's-
it should be, I believe it's always been like that. So as a matter of fact, I even suggest last year to have it like a calendar events.
Yes.
That way, if someone's, like, let's see, once the same day, that they already know that there is somebody's already taken that place. Like Semana Hispana. Semana Hispana always does that. On June, the first week, or the first 2 weeks, second week of June, we always been doing it, the week after. Last year, we have like a little bit disagreement with someone that took my place, and I find out what you said, that they filled it out the day, and I said, why you did that? You knew that I always take this day. But we get agreed, we talk, and then I let him go, and I took the following week, like I'm doing this same thing this year. And they ended up not taking that day neither. So that was the worst thing, that I said, okay. So, but thing happen.
So I don't know, but I don't think we should keep you here longer than you need to. And every counselor is going to have this, to decide how they're going to vote. For me, even if we move this out of here tonight and it goes to the full council, I think the council would feel better knowing that, yeah, the common is free that day. So if we can get something, if you could push on that and get something to us, either to me, to the city clerk, that says that, yeah, that day is open, we'll see if we can move this up tonight, but at least the council will know there's no conflicts. I don't want to double book things. That makes things really ugly. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I just want to follow the rules. If I know what I need to do, I just go through what I need to do.
Chair, also, if we move this up, we put that condition that on the 19th, they should bring the clearance from the recreation park,
I
So-
didn't even know who is now in the recreation departments, because they have moved someone that been there for the longest time, that knows everything and know what we were doing and everybody else is doing. So if anything has changed, I just need to know to follow the rules.
So you just go there and look for Luis Vargas.
Vargas.
Luis Vargas is the one running that department, and I would like to make a motion to send this to the full council with favorable recommendation, and also with the condition that on the 19th, you bring to us a clear from the recreation department, so we can approve it.
Okay.
It could be email, it could be, and just make sure that if you get it to me or to the clerk, that would be helpful, or both of us, that'd be really helpful. That way it's in the packet. So when we're on the 19th, we're looking, oh yeah, it's there, we're good. So
Okay.
that'd be the best way.
I will stop by there and talk to them.
So there's a motion, is there a second? Second. Pat, did you understand the motion? Yeah, especially the recreation department scheduling, that's the most important one. Motion's been made, it's been properly seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 19th.
I think, thank you. Thank you so much. Good night.
Okay, we have two big blocks. We have a lot of police stuff, and we have a lot of National Grid stuff. It is now 8 o'clock. I think the National Grid stuff oddly will be faster, and then we could spend the rest of our time just doing police stuff. That's my recommendation. So, National Grid, you guys still there? Mr. Williamson, are you still with us?
Council, just to let you know, your feed is muted, so we can't hear.
Is this better? Mr. Williamson?
Yes, I can hear you now correctly.
Okay, Mr. Williamson, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
I don't know which numbers you have. Mr. Ang is left, so I don't know where he is. Oh, no, he's over. Hold on.
I think he's trying to get back in.
Yeah, I got you. All right, he's back. Let's start with you. Do you know the number of the document that you're here for? Mr. Williamson, which is your first number?
I have 96 through 107, 24, and 94-24.
What was the second number again?
I have 94-24 and also 96 through.
Okay. Okay, I think I got it. So if there's no objection, let's just close well with Mr. Williamson and then we'll go to Mr. Ames next. The first one that he mentioned is document number 9424. clerk, quickly, we can go through this. This is for a construction underground conduit on Common Street near Amesbury Street. Go ahead, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you. Just for the record, Tim Williamson, for National Grid at 1101 Turnpike Street in North Andover. This petition is to install new conduits on Common Street near Amesbury Street, as part of a substation rebuild project. So we can install new conduits and cables, from the roadway into the substation. That's part of a larger project that's gone before the zoning and planning committees. As part of the plan, all of our disturbances will be repaving the roadway curb to curb and replacing the sidewalk in entire sections. So there'll be no patches or disturbances in the sidewalk.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Williamson. So, I was just... public hearing costs that now the city is absorbing and is offsetting. $100 is not enough for that. I was asking him what the number was, and so he just told me that it's the his proposed change would be to have the utility pay the actual cost of the public notice, whatever that dollar amount is. I just have and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because there's a lot of the I'll ask one question. If you were to have this in another community, let's say Lowell or Able, and they were putting it into their, how much, I mean, Haverhill, for example, is Eagle Tribune. How much would you pay for something like that, something like this in their community?
I would have to check with the clerks. I believe it's in the $100 to $50 ballpark for a lot of towns. But I also understand that it's not fair, to put a burden on the city if the fee is not covering the actual cost of putting up the ads and putting out mailers. I can, take back to our, community liaisons and management at National Grid to attend a future hearing if you'd like to discuss in more detail those fees. But I'm sure National Grid would be, if the fee is increased to offset your increased costs, we'll pay the fee, whatever it is.
Yeah, this is not really all that I'm carrying. To Council Del Rosario's credit, this is his baby. He's the one pushing on this, and I would encourage both of you to communicate offline or at a different time, and then that would be helpful. We can move, and then I'm supporting Council Del Rosario in his efforts to have fairness with respect to this payment. So whatever that is, he knows that I'm supporting him on this. So that's a different conversation. But right now, let's deal with 94-2024. I'm looking for a motion to send this up to the full council order of public hearing, and we can have discussion if there is any. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Council Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And now you're moving on to 96?
95.
Mr. Williamson, you're 96, right? You're skipping 95?
Correct. My next one is 96.
All right. You're 96. All right, you got it, Mr. Williamson. Go ahead, 96. This is for 2 J.O. Pole Salem Street near South Union. Go ahead.
Okay, 96 is 2 new support poles to accommodate replacing wires as part of a larger reconductor project.
Looking for a motion? To send it to the full council with favorable recommendation over public hearings. Is there a motion for that? Motion made by the Vice Chair.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next is 97-24, which is J.O. Pole on South Union near Abbott, Street number 9.
This is 1 new pole to accommodate replacing of wires and to install one new switch.
Is there a motion to send this up to the full council with favorable recommendation or public hearing?
So move.
Motion made by the Council Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 9824, which is 2 JO poles on Springfield Street near Parker Street.
This is to install 2 new poles to support the replacement of wires on Springfield Street.
Motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Total public hearing motion has been made and seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 9924 JO poles, Newton Street near Kingston Street. Go ahead.
These
Mr.
are
Anderson.
two new poles to support the replacement of conductors or wires on Newton.
Motion to send to the full council to order public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 124, which is JO pole at Newton near Rose Street.
This is 1 new pole to support the replacement of wires and to install a new switch.
We are now on document number 100? 124, yep.
Motion to send to the full council to order public hearing.
Motion made and seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 101, 24. Pat, are you with us? I just want to make sure we're going in order.
We're going in order now, 101. Okay. And we're gonna, at the end of this, we're gonna go out of order again, but right now we're in order.
101 is a JO pole on Durham near Rose Street. Go ahead, Mr. Williamson.
This is a 1 new support pole to support the replacement of wires as well.
Motion to put it in the full council.
Motion sent up to the full council to order a public hearing.
Yeah, for the favorable recommendation.
Excellent. Motion been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes, Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 102, which is Crosby Street near South Broadway.
This is also a replacement of poles, or installation of 1 new pole to support the replacement of wires.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to the full council to order public hearing.
Motion made and seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10324 is a JO pole on Everett Street near Sanborn.
This is also a new support pole to accommodate the replacement of wires.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to the full council to order public hearing.
Motion made. Is there a second? Seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10424, construct underground conduit on Merrimack Street and South Union Street.
Yes, this one is to install manholes and conduit as part of the substation rebuild on South Canal Street. The new conduits are required to get the new larger cables out to the riser poles where the new feeders will accommodate the rebuild. As part of this, we planned full curb-to-curb paving wherever there's disturbance to the roadway, and full sidewalk replacements anywhere we're disturbing the sidewalks. And we'll do all the work with Lawrence Police Details and coordinated traffic plans, and reduced hours near the busy intersections to accommodate rush hour traffic and all that.
So this is still all of these except for a few of them are in my district. So this one here is obviously this is a major thoroughfare, 2 major thoroughfares, highly, as you just recommended. Police details are important, highly impacted. When will you be doing the work?
We would work that out with the police details, but if night work is required, we'd be willing to do it at night as well.
I would encourage you to start with night work. This congestion in this part of the city is amazingly bad, and just any small inconvenience is going to cause a traffic nightmare. So let's avoid that as much as we can and do night work.
All right, I'll add that stipulation to the civil contractor's work, and we'll coordinate that with both the DPW for the road opening permit and with the local police details.
Thank you. Looking for a motion.
Motion to send to full council to order a public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10524 J.O. Pole, I'm sorry, Nesso Pole on South Union near Springfield Street.
This is a new pole to support the replacement of wires.
Motion? Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council to order a public hearing.
Motion made by the Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10624 Springfield Street near South Union Street, a JSSO pole.
This is also one new pole to support the replacement of wires.
Motion to send to the full council to order a public hearing.
Motion made, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the last one for you, Mr. Williamson, 10724.
This is to install 2 new poles on South Union Street to accommodate the replacement of wires, and one to also install a new switch.
Very good. Is there a motion?
Motion to send to the full council to order a public hearing.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. So unlike just as we go through all of these, Mr. Williamson, we went through these quickly. So the one that we were constructing underground condo took more time, work, and effort. The other ones we were installing and replacing. How long does it take for a typical one to get done, and how impactful is that on traffic when you're doing a pole replacement or wire replacement?
Each individual pole can be done in a few hours, but these are typically part of a larger overall project where we'll be doing significant work in the South Lawrence area to replace poles and wires, and we're really rebuilding and upgrading a large portion of the grid that's, decades old. If you drive down South Union Street and Newton Street and all those little side roads, if you look at some of the old poles, there's some old infrastructure that's really antiquated and needs to be upgraded. So what we'll be doing is working in phases, different sections or different streets at a time, replacing poles, and then coming through and replacing wires, and coordinating with Comcast and Verizon to come through right behind us and transfer and eliminate the double poles as fast as possible. So, this is a large project where we have our community liaisons and project managers will be outreaching to the town to discuss, the overall project as a whole, and especially coordinating with the DPW on road opening permits for pole replacements, new pole installs, all the conduit installs, everything like that. So we won't, we'll be working in sections at a time. So it's not like we'll be kind of covering the whole area all at once. So we try to button up areas as we go before we move on to the next section.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. I got one question while I was listening to you speak, and knowing my colleagues' correct desire to have fairness for the taxpayers as opposed to having us non-ratepayers having to pay for these things. If the city were to provide for you on this list of receipts that showed that it was in excess of $100, would National Grid write a check to the city if we can show that it went beyond the cost of your $100 was just a portion of it, and it was actually more expensive? Would your company be willing to write a check to the city to make the city whole?
I would have to check with upper management or the project project management at a minimum, to see if we're authorized to approve additional payments. I know the clerk, Jen, has been working, extensively with with your city clerk. So I think if we route the conversation back through them, it's something we'd be willing to entertain. I just am not authorized to say yes or no on that.
Sure. Councilor Del Rosario, this, again, I'm going to give you all the credit in the world. This really is, you're the driving force. I'm just trying to be helpful.
And I understand where you're coming from, and honestly support your measure, because I don't want our projects to be incurring a cost on the city that's not fair or accounted for. So I support your measure. I'm just not authorized at the moment to say yes or no one way or the other.
I understand that. I'm going to look for a motion from my colleagues, maybe Mr. Del Rosario may want to say okay to this. I'm looking for a motion that we send correspondence to the city clerk for the city clerk to provide for us the cost for the documents that are National Grid related that we are voting on this evening, or at least, and get a total dollar amount for all of those, and then find out how much we receive for that. And then what we will be able to do is some simple math, which is how much do the taxpayers of the city of Lawrence have to offset the cost to pay for these ads? If we get that, I think that would be helpful to you, Mr. Williamson, so we can talk, rather than generalities, we will know how much that is. So is that something to be interested in?
Sure. So moving with that motion.
There's a motion to send a correspondence to the city attorney, asking the city attorney to send to this committee the two things: the amount of money that we charged for National Grid for the items this evening, all of them that we did with this evening, and then we would want to know how much that was, and how much we received from National Grid, which that's a simple answer. I think it's $100 for each one, right? Yeah, the city clerk would have those numbers, so we would send that to the city clerk. This is going to the city clerk. She's got the answer. She knows how much is the Eagle Tribune is charging us for this. And so she can tell us that for this one right here, it's $275. And then we know that we got from National Grid $100. I'm just throwing numbers out. They're kind of close. That we know that the city is paying $175 extra that we shouldn't be. And again, I just want to compliment Councilor Del Rosario again. I hate to beat this horse, but without him pushing on this, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Thank you, Chair.
And so there's a motion. It's been properly made and properly seconded. Any further discussion? See now, this is a motion for this correspondence. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And I think we. Again, is there a motion to send document 10724 to the full council with favorable recommendation over a public hearing?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Del Rosario, seconded by the vice chair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Are we done with you, Mr. Williamson?
I realize I have one more. It's actually from February 6th agenda, number 43-24.
4324 is a NSO pole at the intersection of Ferber and Everett Street. Go ahead, Mr. Williamson.
This is also one new pole to support the replacement of wires.
4324. Looking for a motion.
Motion to send to full council to order a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded by the vice chair. Discussion? See no discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, council. I appreciate your time, and I'll take those notes back to management regarding the fees, and we'll have further discussions. I'll pass this off to Vaz for the rest of the petitions.
Mr. Williamson, I'm sorry, I could not hear, not your fault, I could not hear a word you're saying. If the guys in the back room could have Mr. Williamson's mic on for one more time. Go ahead, Mr. Williamson.
I just wanted to thank you for your time and conversation and approvals. And for the matter regarding the fees, I will take our notes back to management and to our processing clerks we'll have further discussion with you in the future. I appreciate your due diligence, and I'll pass the remaining petitions over to Vaz.
We only got a part of that, but I think there was no action items, and we appreciate your willingness to work with us. I think we got that out of it, so thank you very much. And Mr. Eng, you're up next. What documents do you have before us this evening?
With us.
Mr. Eng with National Grid, Vaz?
Sorry about that, the mute was on.
Okay.
Mr. Eng, what items do you have before us this evening? What numbers?
I believe I only have a couple, I believe I have 94, sorry about that, 9524.
Is that it? All right, go ahead.
We're looking to install 2 new poles, on, I believe, at the, what street is this? 9524.
Go ahead, Mr. Eng.
So we're looking to install 2 new poles in order to the 2 new poles on Lawrence Street, in order to accommodate with the DOT, their new, traffic remediation, I believe. Hello?
So this
So
is a,
permit to install 2 poles on Lawrence Street, and 2 JO poles.
Correct.
Motion to send this item to the full council to order a public hearing.
motion made to order favorable recommendation of the public hearing. It's been made and seconded by Council Vice Chair. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Is that it, Mr. Eng?
I believe I have, I'm not sure if Tim spoke on the ones that, I have here. He might not have, because I was booted off the Zoom, but I have one for, the work request 30394415. I'm not sure what, number that is you guys have. But
What's the final 4 digits of the work number?
the work request number, the final 4 digits is 4415.
I see those. I see at least 3 of them. Which addresses are you looking at? All 3 of them?
I'm looking at the Railroad Street one, and I believe it's Railroad and Main Street.
So document 4824, I believe, is the one that Mr. Eng is discussing. It's on February 6, page 2 of our agendas, councilors. Do you wish to testify on that one? We can take a vote this evening.
Yeah, we're gonna need to relocate 3 poles in order to accommodate, I believe it's the reconductoring of the primary. So,
Mr. Eng, I'm just going to ask you, when you give the presentation to the council, we're not experts in utilities, so if you can just kind of let us know in some simple terms, what is you looking to accomplish with this permit?
yes, for this petition, we're gonna need to relocate 3 poles. 1 pole is on Railroad Street, pole 2133. We need that to reconductor the overhead lines in order to get them correct. And we need to move pole 8817-84 southeast about 3 feet from its current location right now. And we also need to replace and relocate pole 2133 8 feet north.
I think I can help. So
The item that's
what's
before us
right now is item number 4824. In our packet, it actually has the poll numbers. This poll number for 4824, and Mr. Eng, please confirm this.
Yes, 4824 for 30394415.
The poll number is 2133. Is that?
Correct.
Is that the one? Okay.
That's one of them, sir?
That's right. So let's stop right there. That's the one that's before us. This is document 4824, jail poll on Railroad Street, poll number 2133. Looking for a motion to send this up to the full council with the favorable recommendation. Motion by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'm going to look at number 4724. Give me a second, I'll give you the poll number. This one says you're looking to install a new riser pole between 4627 and 4628 on Marston Street. Is that to provide electric vehicle chargers in Lawrence? Well, look at that. Is that the one you're talking about on Marston Street, Mr. Eng?
For what item is this again?
We have a document number 4724. It has the same number as the other one, 306, 84, 441. And the poll numbers are between polls 4627 and 4628 on Marston Street.
Yes, correct. That is to install a riser pole in order to provide the EV charging stations power.
Very good. If I had all the time in the world, I would have lots of questions regarding EV, but I'm not going to ask you that. So there's a motion right now to send this to the full council with the favorable recommendations. Is there a motion? Motion by the Vice Chair. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I believe your last one was document for the council, for the committee, is 4924. Mr. Eng, just double check it. This is for relocating poll number 8817-84, about 16 feet southeasterly from its current location on Broadway.
Correct.
All right, so we're on the same one. And I think I just explained what you're trying to do there. So I'm looking for a motion to send this up to the full council with the favorable recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago. Seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Mr. Eng, is there anything else?
I believe that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Our next meeting, this has got to be for a public hearing. I have no idea what public hearings are going to be done on the 19th. So you're just going to have to get in touch with the clerk and see what the agenda is. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is
Officer Pinot here? Yeah, we're here. I'd like to take an item.
47723. Item 47723.
Where is this? What date is this? What date on the agenda?
It's on the
23, you said?
47. It's on page 3. 477. 477.
So if there's no objection, we're going to take document 47723, recognizing Lawrence High School Theater Program. Out of order. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none, go ahead, Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you to you, Mr. Chair. This is an item that was placed on the agenda 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. We would like to bring it out to the full council hopefully with the recommendation, the kids from Lawrence High School, theater program, they had a great show. I think it was a week show, and it was very successful. And me and our colleague, my colleague,
We decided we need to continue and recognize students. They're doing such a good job. So if it's possible, I would like to send this to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I will make that as a form of a motion.
Motion's on the floor, it's been properly seconded. Discussion. So one of the things that would be really good, I'm going to support it. One of the things that'd be really good is if we can get just some of the language, just as a standard procedure, if we have language on it that's helpful, it's not in our packet. I'm supporting it tonight, just get it obviously to the full council, but that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It should be there. It was there, so I don't know what's going on. But all the language, we were waiting on the teachers to bring up the language, and once we had it, that's when we put it in the agenda. So I don't know what happened with all the transition, because it was before the whole change, so. But thank you. Yeah, we'll have it.
So the motion's been made, it's been properly seconded. Any further discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Is Officer Cano, are you still with us, officer? Maybe you're in the back room? Welcome, officer. There's a lot here. I'm just trying to figure out what the order is. We have a handicap parking. Maybe if we go in order.
I can give you the numbers. There's at least 30 ordinances.
Here is to be out by 10. It is now 8:40. We have an hour and 20 minutes. So we're going to not only do the rest of the agenda stuff, we're going to send some stuff over to you, like a handicap parking, like document 7724, but we're also going to take up the stuff that you've got in this packet.
May I also, just to let you know that coming, as of the next ordinance meeting, I won't be taking up any of the new items until I resolve all the old ones, starting from 2019. So I'm trying to catch up to make sure that all this stuff gets cleaned out and wiped out. And there's a lot of things that should have been taken out and are still existing. So it's either a status check or it's remove it because it was taken care of. So as many as you send it, I'm not doing any of the 2024 until I resolve all of the 2023s. And maybe if we can have the meetings, in a more regular session, that would help out, because, this is obviously a month's worth of work that, because of the meetings themselves, to no fault of anybody's, just the holidays and things like that, but this is an issue where time is of essence, and these items are important.
We have one last item under new business for February the 20th. I'd like to have just finish this up. Document number 7724, it's handicap parking at 155 Saratoga Street. I know you're not going to take it because you're doing 2019 stuff. It's going to take a while before we get there, but I just want to get this at least in the queue. You don't have this. This is brand new under new business. All right. So, councilors, there is a request for handicap parking at 155 Saratoga Street for Euclid's, Caraballo, Sicard. All the information seems to be there. I think we need to send this over to... I'm looking for a motion to send document number 77-2024 for that handicap parking for the person I just mentioned at 155 Saratoga Street to the police department for their review. Is there a motion? Motion made?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Pat, there's a lot going on here. We have just completed everything under new business for February the 20th, except for 9324. No one spoke. It was a JO poll on Marston Street. So that stays there. That stays there, so that's going to stick around. Everything else moves on that. So I just want to make sure that your notes reflect that.
Good to see you too, Councilor.
Everything but 9324. Everything else we've done something about. Except for 9324. Oh, Mr. Ang is still with us. Mr. Ang.
Canceled. So that new work request is 30684441. So I think the designer might have to submit a new petition for that work request, so.
I missed the first part about it. Is this the one in Marston Street?
Request from our database has been canceled, and the new work request regarding this would be 30684441, which I believe the designer will soon submit a petition for this.
So what I'm thinking we want to do is just withdraw, send a motion to full council to withdraw 9324. You guys can resubmit this one with a different work order, and then we can just, because that way it's just clean, and we don't have to have this thing sit around table. Is that what?
Yep.
That's what do you think?
That is great.
Great. Looking for a motion for document 9324.
Motion to send to the full council with intent to withdraw 9324.
Second.
Motion made with a recommendation to withdraw. Document 9324 has been properly made and properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That is it. We have completed all of that meeting's business, Pat. Everything's done. Thank you, Mr. Ang. All right. I do want to, like I said, we're going to have a hard stop at 10. There are things that are on here that we can move fairly quickly under the February 6th. We're not going to deal with the National Grid stuff. They're not here. There's some stuff that's still left. We'll leave it here. But there's things like no parking. Do you have anything on that, by the way? I think we're just going to leave that there. I think that Mr. Officer Cuddy, and first of all, my condolences to the police department with Sergeant Sandin.
Thank you.
I can't even imagine how difficult it is to go to work today, but Officer Cuddy, I know, is very close with him, and anyway, we'll leave. I don't know if we need to work on that. I think we pulled that out of committee. Did we pull that out of committee? So, Pat, we got to make sure 2124 is no longer on our agenda. It's got to go because we voted on it already. 2124. I think we have, who can help. This is the Maui one. I'm more prepared for this. They're looking for, they have their annual feast. It's the same night as the Three Saints, and it's the Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Now, they do not use a public park. All they use is that they use their private parking lot.
That's correct.
And they spill over sometimes maybe onto the street, of which we don't have jurisdiction. So I've been when I was the council president, I was very clear that we're not even looking at stuff we have no jurisdiction over. We don't have jurisdiction over this. This should not be before us, unless there's doing something different, which I don't think is happening. I think they're doing the same old, with
That's,
Marujan.
that would be my understanding, and they do it every year. And everything seems to go in order with no issues that I know of.
So I'm looking, I don't want to start going ahead and start doing permits for things we don't do permits for, and this would be an example of that. I'm looking for a motion to withdraw document 2324, the 52nd Annual Marujan, because we have no jurisdiction.
So move.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all in
I believe
discussion?
they do go to the licensing, and that's where it might have gotten crossed.
It goes to the, and the police department, not
Yes.
the council, right? Motion's been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay. There's other things here that the councilors are not here to speak on. I just want to keep them tabled. For example, the next one here is by Council President Rodriguez on the parking meter contract. That's his item. He's not here. I like to keep that here until he shows up. Document 2624, that is put on by Council President Rodriguez and Vice President Infante. Neither one of them are here. I do have some opinions about this. I did author this back in 2015, and I think I'm in the same mindset as those two individuals, so I've got some suggestions on that, but I will hold off on that. Lowell Street, that's the one that Councilor Infante wanted to speak on with Officer Cuddy. Let's leave that here, because she's not here, and he obviously is not here. 2924 Old Gold, we can probably, now, the vice chair has been a veteran on this committee. When something like the Old Gold license comes here, do we require the people to show up here for this, or do we just do it without their attendance? If you want a permit from us, you should at least show up here, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to show up.
Okay, all right. So there's nobody else here, so this is going to go very fast. Nobody's here for 2924, the Old Gold secondhand license. There's nobody here for 3024, the pawnbroker's license at 333 Essex Street. 3124, review and update the mileage travel policy. Mr. Spanner is not here, so we'll leave this here. We did the other one. 3324, I'm here. Let's do this one. Document 3324, handicap parking at 205 Abbott Street. I'm looking for a motion to send this to the police department for their review.
So move.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That was 3324. No, it's going to the police department for their review. Yeah? Pardon me? And this will stay tabled. That's right, and this will stay tabled. So is that part of the motion, just so we're clear? It stays tabled, and while we're at it, 7724 will stay tabled too, Pat. That's going to stay on the agenda. 7724, that's the very first one, just stays tabled. Got it, okay. We're getting there, officer, this is happening fast. Here we go, this is one of yours. 3524, delete ordinance and remove handicap parking space at 233 Hampshire Street by Officer Cano. I guess we've got to send that to you, right, officer, for your review? That sounds kind of weird, you're putting it on here.
Which one?
3524?
524, which is that? Is that, I have,
Deleting an ordinance, handicap parking space at 233 Hampshire Street. I think we should just, it says your name on there.
I think it's being referred to me.
Do you want it to, you put your name on it as a sponsor. It's, okay, I mean, look.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know.
That's fine,
If you're not the
if
sponsor.
that works. But I didn't,
Hold on, let me look up. There's an email to the clerk on January 26th. Dear Madam Clerk Brunel, please place this handicap sign ordinance for removal or withdrawal. Unfortunately, the person passed away 18
Okay,
months
yes.
ago.
Correct.
Okay, there we go.
That's a removal.
That's a
Correct.
removal. And we feel pretty, we don't need to send this to you. You've written it, you've already looked at it, so we can probably just send this up, right?
She just, Madam Clerk wanted to make sure that it gets taken out legally the way it was placed, so that if anyone ever looks back or questions why it's not there, it was actually done, and I did call her, correct, to,
Why wouldn't we at this point, you've testified that
It's
this
just
woman has
to remove-
passed away, she's no longer there, who needs it? Why can't we just send this up to the full council with a recommendation
Perfect.
to order a public hearing?
Yes.
That's the proper, okay.
excellent.
There's the motion, to send document 35, 2024 to the full council to order, with the table recommendation to order a public hearing to withdraw or to remove this handicap parking sign. Is there a
So
motion?
move.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Got it? Okay. Full order public hearing. Where are we? 36. This looks very familiar. Let's put this aside. 3624 is put on by Council President Rodriguez and Vice President Fonte. They're not here. We might be able to get back to that later. Let's just continue, unless there's any objection to that. 3724 we did. 3824. Looking for, this is for handicap parking at 49 Bradford Street, Apartment 1. Looking for a motion to send this to the Officer Canova, to the Police Department for their review.
Was that 53 Bedford?
This would be 49 Bradford Street.
49. Is that also removal?
This is not a removal. This is for a new one. You haven't gotten it yet, because we're about to send it to you perhaps
Okay,
soon.
yep, you could send it.
Okay.
So move.
Motion to send this to the Police Department,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This is a handicap parking at 20 Belmont Street. Looking for a motion to send this to the Police Department for review.
So move.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Should I give you the numbers in order, and that way we can go through them? Sure. As a block?
Is this in the packet that you sent to us? Okay.
So you technically should have 10619,
Yes.
11124,
Why don't,
okay, yeah. All right, so let's go one, so 10619, it was originally a request for a handicap parking. It was done back in 2019. And basically, I'd like to have this item withdrawn because it has been taken out, it's been removed, and that was what prompted the, this was in the list of ordinances, and it's still showing, so I would like to have it removed from the list, so it's not showing, because it seems like it hasn't been done. But I went to the location, it has been removed. It's not there. So this is my second time asking to have it removed from this list.
the question that we always ask, we did this before, is it off of our books? Is it off of our ordinance books? Do we know that? If it's off of our ordinance books online,
It's still
This is-
showing
this
here,
is-
and that's the
we can
problem.
just, this is,
It's still showing in the document that's being put out every 2 weeks.
you're making a good point. My point here is this. Here's the reality. Sometimes we will move things. We saw one already this evening with Stephanie Infante's St. Patrick's thing, right? That was a classic example. If we didn't say something, it would stick around for months, and then a year from now, I'll be like, what's going on with this thing? So sometimes we move things out, and they stay on here. They shouldn't be. My question here is, we don't know if it's been moved out. The only way we would know is if we went online and typed in this address, or, to see if the handicap parking is there. And that way, we could just, you don't even need to do the work on it. We can just say, this has been done.
Right, but who does that?
That's a good point. I don't have an easy
And
answer. If you,
I went there,
You
and I
went? No.
checked, it's not there. That's what I'm here to clarify. It's not present at the address. I did check, and it did exist at one time. It was requested. I have the name of the person. I even have the original document. It was by Mrs. Irene Frazier of 170, 172 Boxford Street. It was put in by Officer Scanlon back in 2019, and I went there, the sign has been removed, so I'm asking to have this sign taken off the list so that it doesn't reflect like it hasn't been removed.
and I get that. I want to make this point, and this is hard to understand. It's confusing, and I grant that. What happens if we just remove this thing off of here and it's still on the books?
Well, all due respect, but it's been here since 2019, so I think that it would be safe to take it off. I would dare to say that it would be okay to take it off.
Don't think it's on the books. But you can understand how this could be confusing to another police officer, another city council, a year or two from now, that says, why is this thing still on our computer system and there's no sign there?
Could we maybe have it documented for the clerk, Madam Clerk, to have, or to the confidential secretary to have it removed, or confirm that it has gone through the process? Because we're going through, so from here, my question would be, where does it go from here?
My colleagues, do we all understand the question that I'm posing here? Yeah. Okay. So now we're trying to find a solution. So we need somebody to, I'm not looking at you necessarily if that's you, but somebody should go in here and make it the determination that this is no longer on the books, this should be thrown out, because it's already been dealt with at some level. And I don't need that to be you. We can send this up to the city, this is what we did last time. We sent things to the city clerk, and we said, double check on that. I haven't heard back from her. Double check on this and see if this has already been removed.
So how about city clerk, confidential secretary, and the city solicitor? All three, and maybe they can make a determination, make sure that it gets off the books. I think that would be the best thing, because now they're all three accountable. Because we don't know technically who does it. And I think that would be a best solution to make sure that at least one of them take care of it.
So on this particular matter,
Because my next meeting is going to be all about removing what is in here. That's going to be,
before we get there, here's a recommendation. Can you, and I'm being help, can you to them? And just say, here are the addresses. Tell me if they're still on the books, and then they can come back to you, and then we don't have this interchange. We already know. You're like,
Okay.
yeah, this is no longer on the books,
So
and then we don't have to kill all this time.
I'll do that, and I'll CC all the councilors, or I'll CC the ordinance committee. That way you know that it's in the process.
So the next time, when we have this conversation, you're gonna know already, I've talked to the city clerk, and this shouldn't be there, or we need to do this, that thing's still there, we need to withdraw it, or whatever the answer is, because it's gonna be different for each one. On this one, let's just go through the process. On this one, I'm looking for a motion to send document number 10619 to the city clerk. You're recommending Teresa?
Also to Teresa and also to Tim Hooton. All three. And then I'll touch base with them tomorrow, and then let them know that there's more to come.
To determine if this,
determine-
if this has already been withdrawn.
Correct.
Does that make sense? So we're making a motion to send this up, so there's a catch to this. We're gonna send it to those three people, got it? Teresa, Tim Hooton, Eileen Brunel, city clerk, confidential secretary, and the city attorney. That they look to see if this document has already been dealt with at the council level. Has this sign been removed? If the answer is yes, we've already taken care of it, the clerk should just take it and make sure that, and we need to take it off the agenda. It's already been dealt with.
And may I ask if it can be also questioned as to who is responsible for that? That way we won't have such a confusing time trying to figure out who does it, so I can just do it automatically. That would be very helpful.
But let's start with this first, that's the second question. If, I hate to make this so complicated, but if it hasn't been dealt with, it goes to the full council.
So this is going to Teresa and to Eileen?
Yeah, city attorney, city clerk, and confidential secretary, yeah. That's the recommendation. And between the three of them, hopefully they're gonna figure that out, how to find out if this has been dealt with. If it hasn't been dealt with, we should send this up to the full council to order a public hearing to withdraw, because if it hasn't happened, we need to do it lawfully, right?
Yes. And I did put in the document that I went to the address and that I did not see the sign, and therefore it doesn't exist there. It's not there. So they'll know that, okay, well, at least if he didn't see it, it's not there, we can remove it, if it's appropriate.
You and I both know, there have been times, I think all of us can attest, that there have been times where signs have been brought up magically and taken down magically. And so the magic, I'm trying to diffuse the magic and just get the facts. So, okay. All right, are we clear on that? This is the first one. That was a hard one, but hopefully the other ones aren't going to be that hard. All right. We need to figure out what the status is on that one. Maybe that's the best way. What's the status? All right, next.
Okay, next, 11124.
Yeah.
It's a document that was requested by Mr. Howard Spector from Spector Industries. Do you have that one? 11124? Okay, so there's a 111, 112, and 113. So maybe the last three? Okay. So here we go. 11124, it was for Spector Industries. He's requesting no parking sign across from his driveway to allow the 18-wheelers, tractor trailers to do a turn going in and out of the driveway. So the parking sign should be put at 24 Bennett Street on the south side of the roadway.
You agree with this one, and you'd like to make an ordinance, you agree with this ordinance proposal?
Correct.
Okay, there we go.
So-
Looking for a motion to send this up to the full council with a recommendation, order a public hearing. Motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. That's your district, right, Councilor Santiago? That's not your district? Howard Street? Oh, Bennett Street? Never mind. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Uh, 112?
11224, its document was placed by District E Councilor Stephanie Infante on behalf of business owner Mr. Cavallo of Cavallo Restaurant and Diner, located at 279 South Broadway. This was formally requested by Ordinance Representative Officer Eugene Scanlon. So 112 and 113 are similar, because it's basically right across from each other. A no parking sign from here to corner, which is the first 20 feet from the intersection, which is state law, but they're also requesting, there's an additional 25 feet that lead to the driveway of the restaurant. So they're requesting no parking from the intersection, from the corner, right to the driveway, so that vehicles can pass in and out of the street on Farley Street without any, without any issues. When cars are parked, whether it's on the Cavallo Street Diner side on Farley Street or the TD Bank, it becomes an issue where vehicles trying to get out, vehicles trying to get in, it becomes an issue. also for the people that are leaving or entering the parking lot for either the bank or the restaurant. So I do recommend that no parking signs be placed, and that will be on the on the west side of the sidewalk. So it's going to be from 20 feet all the way to 45 feet on Farley Street from the intersection of South Broadway. For this document, number 112.
Got it. So instead of 20 feet, you're going 45 feet, and so you're expanding it, which requires an ordinance.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to, is there a motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing? Motion made by the vice
Second.
chair, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See, call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Document 11324, same thing. This is the TD Bank side. No parking 45 feet on the south side of the street, on Farley Street.
Same idea, other side of the street.
So,
Motion by Councilor Santiago to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? See no discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now we're at 123?
123. This document was requested by former Councilor District A, Maria de la Cruz, which was tabled in 2021, requesting a traffic study for Alston Street. It was then referred to me on August the 2nd of 2021. I did follow up with former Councilor de la Cruz upon seeing this line item persistent on the list as unresolved prior to the end of this year, last year. And she referred me to Councilor Selena Reyes regarding this issue. Councilor Reyes had requested stop signs at the location, so it kind of took care of the issue of the traffic study. And I'm asking to have this item withdrawn from the list as resolved.
Motion made to send it to the
Second.
full council to withdraw. Motion and properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 124.
12421 is the document that was requested by at-large Councilor Selena Reyes for a stop sign to be placed on Salem Street at the intersection with Everett Street. This petition was requested back in 2021, and it was tabled as new business. It was recommitted. I responded to the address. I confirmed that the sign was present. I also checked Muni Code, and it has ordinance 10.28.100, stop signs and flashing red lights, signals, and confirmed that the sign had already been approved accordingly. I request for this item to be withdrawn as it has been completed.
Recommendation to withdraw?
Second.
Motion's been properly made and properly seconded. Did you get it, Pat? Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That's to withdraw. Document 30923.
Document 41323 is the next one. You said 309? 309. 309, so I'm missing one. Okay. I have 413, so I'm missing one. 309. Let's see.
413 is in your packet about 10 feet. 413. And 413 is on Gable Street.
Oh, Farnham Street. Okay, I understand what's going on. Hold on a second, yeah. So Just give me 1 second, I'm sorry. 424. All right, I think if I read 424, it'll make sense. So 309 is a repeat of 424. So originally, 309 was put in place, and it was requested by the constituent, and then she got a hold of the counselor because it was taking a long time, and it was again put into the ordinance as 424. So 309 needs to be withdrawn, is what I'm, actually, 424 needs to be withdrawn, and 309 replaced.
Counselor, to make this easier on all of us, if you could pull up 424, which is deeper in your packet, again, another about 10 pages in, halfway through, you'll see 424. That way we can look at both of them and
Right. So 424-23 reads, I'm submitting this memo. It was a request on December the 1st of 2023 by Councilor Reyes, Selena Reyes, on behalf of Maria, Mrs. R. Maria, for a handicap parking sign to be placed in front of her residence at 128 Farnham Street. The original ordinance request line item was 30923. It was requested by Mrs. B.A. Yvette on August the 28th of 2023 for the same thing. I do recommend for the original ordinance 30923 be granted, and I request for the latter duplicate line item 424 to be withdrawn from the Ordinance Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
All right, so I think it's clear, and this is Counselor Reyes, so you're looking for a withdraw document 424 and an approval of 309. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counsel Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 30923, Counselor, what's your motion? That you're recommending the approval, right, Officer Cano on 309?
Yes.
Motion, document 309, motion to send this up to full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counsel Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Next line item is 31123. This is made by Mr. S.P. Manuel Adalberto, who contacted District F Councilor LaPlante for one handicap parking sign to be placed in front of his residence located at 356 South Union Street. I did seek guidance from the city engineer, as this area is metered during the day. The constituent raised a valid argument that during the day, due to his handicap placard status, he's allowed to park and there is no issues in the metered space. However, during the evening and during non-metered hours, he is unable to secure parking close to his residence due to the overabundance of vehicles from the residents in the area. Even though I did put here that I had not spoken to the solicitor, I did request, but I went and spoke with him, and he said that it shouldn't be an issue. It could go forward. So I do recommend for this to be granted. And if the council passes the handicap parking sign, it should be placed from the northeast corner of Dorchester Street on South Union Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet, for 20 feet to a point 40 feet. That'll put the sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 356 South Union Street.
Looking for motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Motion made
Second.
and seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Document 33623 was made by District D Councilor Stephanie Infante on behalf of residents of Coleman Street for resident parking only, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, from 3 to 6, or under the allowable ordinance restriction, which could also be, I think it's 5 to 6. The Coleman Street is a two-way street that travels north and southbound. Coleman Street is a dead end and has a total length of 207 feet, so it's fairly short. The width of the public street is 26 feet evenly. The west or left side of the street has has a total of 3 houses, number 35, 57, and 79, which are all multifamilies. The east side or right side of the street has 1 house, numbered 53, at the intersection with Everett Street. They have their own parking space. I did seek the approval and guidance of the city engineer. He agreed with a favorable recommendation. I do recommend that this ordinance be granted. If the council passes the ordinances, the sign shall be placed at the following location: from the northeast corner of Everett Street on Coleman Street, traveling north, all the way to the dead-end section. Sign shall be placed on the east side as needed, and also on the west side as needed.
There's a motion to have a handicap parking at the locations that were just, not handicap, resident parking.
Resident parking.
Sorry, my bad, it's me. Resident parking at the areas just described by Officer Cano. Is there a motion to send this up to the full, we don't meet a public hearing, to order a public hearing? Is there a motion? Motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Discussion. I'm going to pick this time for this discussion. So, in reviewing our resident parking sticker permits, I've discovered that these are only annual permits. And I sent a message to the police chief asking, because they all expire on December 31st of every year, who has resident parking right now? Who's paid the $2 fee? It's $2. I haven't heard back from him, but I think we all know the answer. The answer is, all these people that we've given resident parking stickers for, here's the ugly truth. You can't ticket somebody from parking in a resident parking place because there's no permit, because it hasn't come before the council. If somebody were to fight this in administrative court, they're going to look and say, at the ordinance, and say, did you pay your $2 for your renewal of your permit? And they're going to say, I didn't know we had to do that, or no, I didn't do that. They're going to go, this case is dismissed. There is no permit. I think that as we're going through on these, people have been lucky because no one knows the law. But if someone were to fight this, you're going to unravel something. So my recommendation, if we were to go through on this, and hopefully these people show up at the full council, we tell them, this is a one-year permit. We are authorizing you for the remainder of this year, and you have to renew it every December before, so it's effective on January 1st for resident parking. And I don't know what you guys, when I say you guys, the police department is going to do, because I realize the police department hasn't been doing that because no one has pushed it and said, I want to renew. So I think that you may want to,
Well,
when I say you, I don't mean you, Officer Cano, I mean you, the police department.
The renewal aspect of it is that they do have to come into the police station and they get a new form. They have to present their license and a registration, so they get a new form every year. The part about paying, because they get a piece of paper, it wasn't an issue that we don't take money at the police department, so it's something that would have to be taken up with maybe accounting or someone from City Hall, that they could pay for this through that means, because we don't, at the police department, we don't take money. We can't, we don't have the means to be able to do that. Maybe online as a payment service, and then they get their sticker in the mail or something, or I don't know.
We just make the laws, we don't,
Right.
we don't actually figure out how it is that you guys enforce the laws. We just make sure that's there. And hopefully that you figure out, when I say, and it sounds harsh, I don't mean it to be harsh, whenever we do an ordinance, we create an ordinance, we should work with you, frankly, to have good government and to figure out what's the best way of doing it. But ultimately, after we figure out what the policy is, we need someone to implement the policies, and that's where the police department comes in. And these kinds of things
Would I
make
suggest,
sense, but I've got to figure that out.
right, maybe the city attorney can help us with that? I think that would be fantastic if, and also, Mr. Rodriguez, David Rodriguez from parking, he'd be instrumental in helping us as well.
I just want to get this on people's radar screens now, as we're going through this, so that we know what we're doing, so no one's caught off guard, and so we can start working on it. This is kind of like a heads up. This is something that could trip us up, because what we're going to see is more and more resident parking, because we're running out of parking around the city, and more people are angry because they're not able to park in front of their homes, so they want resident parking stickers.
Correct.
And then we all know what happens. Instead of having 2 families, you got 4 families, and instead of only 2 people having cars, you got 5 people having cars, and this is unsustainable, so people want to protect their ability to park, and so we're going to see more and more of this. And at some point, this is going to come up. It's just going to. So,
Great.
all right, so that was my discussion. I just want to make sure we were aware of that. Nugget, I wasn't aware of it until I was going through this the other day, and I discovered it. So there's that. So there's a motion. I don't know if there's an action item here, except to say that the individuals who are going to get this permit need to know that it expires at the end of this year. And maybe we will tell them that at the full council level if we adopt it.
I'll convey
Or
that
you can do that.
information over to Councilor Infante so she can alert her constituents. I think
excellent.
that would be,
Excellent. And if she's got any questions, she can certainly contact me.
Absolutely.
Sure. Motion's been made, properly seconded. No further discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
document 35623 was made by Mrs. W. Diaz for handicap parking sign to be placed in front of her residence located at 17 Greenwood Drive. I responded to the address and noticed that the single-family home has an ample driveway with a built-in handicap ramp that extends from the driveway to the house. I did speak with the petitioner, who advised me that she used to live at 45 Bronfield Street on the first floor apartment. Ms. Diaz stated that outside of 45 Bronfield Street, she had an ordinance handicap sign, which she was looking to have relocated at her current address. I advised her that I do not recommend the sign to be placed at her current new home address. I encourage her to utilize her driveway, which is more convenient and safer for both her and her child and family. She agreed and appreciated the advice and requested to have the item withdrawn. I also contacted Madam Clerk Brunel O'Connor and DPW to formally request to have the ordinance handicap sign removed accordingly, as the original petitioner had moved and it is no longer needed. I do not recommend this ordinance to be granted and requested to be withdrawn.
I got a question. So was this handicap parking sign lawfully placed in front
Yes.
of the first place,
And-
excuse me?
Yes,
Okay, It was
correct.
lawfully placed there.
Lawfully placed, it was an ordinance, correct. And I
So-
notified Madam Clerk and DPW, and she was going to do the proper channels to remove that sign. So it'll probably be in one of the
Oh, okay.
ones coming up for
Perfect.
removal.
That was going to be my point. So we have to order a public hearing to get rid of a law. It's the same way of creating a law. You have to order a
Correct.
public hearing both ways, coming and going, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so this is for the new address that she wanted at 17 Glenwood? Is that her new address?
Yes.
Okay, so so I'm looking for a motion to withdraw this document because you were successful in your discussions with her. Is there a motion to withdraw this document? Motion made, is there a second? Second. Seconded. A motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. This is to order withdrawal at the favorable recommendation at the full council level. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Document 36123 was submitted by Council President Giovanni Rodriguez on behalf of a constituent for one handicap parking sign for one vehicle space placed near his residence located on Elizabeth Street at the intersection with Lowell Street. I responded to the address and spoke to the constituent and confirmed his address and handicap placard. I do recommend this ordinance to be granted if the council passes the request. The sign should be placed from the northeast corner of Lowell Street on Elizabeth Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet, for a distance of 20 feet to a point 40 feet. It'll be placed on the east side of the sidewalk on Elizabeth Street.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council to order public hearing.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is 38823.
38823 was placed by District C Councilor Gregory Del Rosario on behalf of his constituent and business owner, Mr. P. Peralta of La Esquina del Sabor, located at 39 Manchester Street. The request was for two 30-minute parking signs to be placed on one on Manchester Street and the other one on Washington Street. This property is a corner lot. It's a business that has no other, there's no other interference with the space. I do recommend for the signs to be placed. If the council approves this, one will be placed on Washington Street from the intersection of Manchester on Washington Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet, up to a point 40 feet, for 20 feet total. That'll place the sign on the west side of the sidewalk in front of Manchester Street, and the other one's going to be Manchester Street from the northwest corner of Washington Street on Manchester Street, traveling west to a point 20 feet, to a total point of 40 feet, one vehicle space. This places the sign on the north side of the sidewalk in front of 39 Manchester Street.
Is there a motion?
Motion to send to full council to order public hearing.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. All in discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We have 30 minutes, Officer Cano.
Plenty of time, plenty of time. 38923. 38923 was made by former District B Councilor Estela Reyes on behalf of her constituents for one handicap parking sign for one vehicle space to be placed in front of the residents of 82 Bunker Hill Street.
All right, slow down, slow down. What number? We're mixed up again. What number?
38923?
389?
388, 389. 389. 389. So 82 Bunker Hill Street. All right, so I checked with former Councilor Estela Reyes, Madam Clerk Eileen O'Connor, Bernal O'Connor, and Confidential Secretary Teresa Natareno in regards to this petition. I could not find any information regarding the handicap placard or the name for the petitioner. So I strongly really urge and request two things, that when, as a councilor, you request something, make sure that the name and the phone number and the placard, they do it, they submit it so that this issue doesn't come up. But I try to find out, I talked to the homeowner, I talked to the neighbors, no one knew anything about the request, so I'm asking for this item to be withdrawn. And I've also suggested that even when a petitioner asks, I'm trying to make sure that they go through the area counselor, and the minimum, just because that that'll help in the repeat ordinances, but this is for withdrawal.
Looking for a motion?
Second.
A motion to send it to the full council with the recommendation to withdraw has been made by Council Vice Chair, seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
39023 is a document that was 39023, 390, and the next one will be 392, and then 395. Okay. Perfect. 421, but we'll get there. By at-large Councilor Selena Reyes and District C Councilor Gregory Del Rosario on behalf of his residents, constituents of Chelmsford Street, between Arlington Street and Center Street, petitioning for resident parking only signs for the east side, which is the odd number of houses. So only on the east side, because the other side is no parking ordinance, that you cannot park on the other side. Chelmsford Street is a one-way street, allowing traffic to travel northerly, in a northerly direction. Traffic enters from Arlington Street, one way to Center Street. There is currently no parking permit on the west side of the public way due to the street being very narrow, and one-sided parking allowed on the east side. The full length of Chelmsford Street is 860 feet, consistent width of 25 feet throughout. I recommend this ordinance be granted. However, I also wish to have the recommendation of the city engineer to give his recommendation. But if the council passes this ordinance from the north, the signs for resident parking only should be placed from the northwest corner of Arlington Street on Chelmsford Street, traveling north to a point 20 feet to 820 feet. So there's a deficiency of 40 feet because no one can park on either side of the intersection. The distance of 20 feet from either intersection, either side, Center Street or Arlington Street, on Chelmsford Street. Does that make sense?
So these are my colleagues who are looking for resident parking on that street. Your recommendation is that, and you haven't explained why, but you'd like to have
I
the
do
city...
recommend it, but
city
maybe it could, does it go to Tim Hooton or the city engineer? But I just not sure if they need to give the okay as far as for the resident parking, because usually the engineer and DPW, they get involved with this to make sure that,
On resident parking? The
Just be-
oddity of the street size?
just because it's so odd, it's so weird how we have already no parking on one side, we have a one-way, and just putting another restriction, maybe it needs to go through I don't want it just to be my recommendation. I think it's important to get a secondary recommendation.
I'll leave it to my colleagues. They're the sponsors. I don't know what they want. They're going to get, if it works out right, they'll be heroes. If it goes south, they're going to be goats. So I'll let them figure out how they want to...
That sounds really good to me.
How they want to go.
I mean, through you, Chairman, if it's for me, I would go for it and order a public hearing, but I don't want to just hesitate and do something that, it might complicate all the restriction that's already in there. There's constituents there being heard, but not being able to park on one side already, and they try to find a parking spot on the other side, which, as we all know, the whole city is struggling for parking, and then you have people from 3 or 4 streets parking on your streets, and then you out of it, and you can't park on the side of your house because you're gonna get ticket or towed. So it's, but I will go with the officer recommendation and seek, it's already restrictions in there, so I don't want to complicate anything. I mean, I will motion to send this item to the city engineer and the city attorney for recommendation, and DPW. Is it that?
I think one would be suffice. I think just getting a secondary, I'm just looking for a secondary opinion on, and getting guidance. I'm okay with it. I think it's a great idea. Most of the houses do have a driveway, but there's just not enough for the amount of cars and houses, when you tie in how many people in a family have cars. So it would be helpful to restrict the permitting or resident parking. That will help. If the city engineer is fine.
So motion to send to the city engineer for second opinion.
Motion's been made, it's in correspondence to the city engineer to review this proposal. It's been seconded by the vice chair.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? No, we have some. You vote no? Okay. I thought there's a no. Unanimous. It's going to the city engineer. Thank you. All right, next.
39223 was made by, request made by at-large Councilor, at-large Council President Giovanni Rodriguez, on behalf of constituents requesting stop signs at Midland Street at intersection with Brookline Street. I recommend this request to be granted. At this intersection, there are no stop signs at this time. Midland Street is a two-way street that intersects with Brookline Street and allows traffic to flow north and southbound. Brookline Street is also a two-way street and allows traffic to flow east and west. If the council passes the request, the sign shall be placed at the following location: from the southeast corner of Brookline Street on Midland Street, traveling south to a point 7 feet. That'll place the sign on Midland Street on the east side of the sidewalk. And from the northwest corner of Brookline Street on Midland Street, traveling north to a point 7 feet. This will place the sign on Midland Street on the west side of the sidewalk.
Would like to make a motion,
What's your motion?
the public hearing,
Motion made to send this document to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. Is there a second? Seconded by Council Del Rosario. I am so tired. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The ayes have it. Order public hearing at the full council. Yes. Yep.
Document 39523 was made by District Lead Councilor Stephanie Infante, requesting on behalf of constituents on Bork Street for one-side parking restriction. Bork Street is a dead-end street that runs from Beacon Street, entering from the east and ending in a westerly direction, with a total length of 918 feet. The width of the street is approximately 26 feet evenly. There is allowed parking on both sides of the street and leaves access for only one vehicle to travel through at any given time without causing a safety concern or delay in accessing the houses in the area. A valid complaint occurs during trash pickup where the company must enter traveling backwards or backing out, causing a safety issue. There is also the issue of emergency vehicles safely having access. I measured and assessed the area, attempting to consider parking spaces on the street and for the ones that have parking and the ones that have off-street parking. On the left side, south side of the street are odd numbers: 5, 9, 13, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 31 to 33, 35, 39, and 41. This side of the street has more houses with off-street parking. This side of the street has less parking available on the public way. On the right side, the north side of the street, are the even number houses: 4, 10, 12, 16 through 18, 24 through 26, and number 28. This side of the street has less homes with off-street parking and considerably more on-street parking available to residents on the public way. I do recommend this ordinance to be passed If the council passes this ordinance, the parking restriction should be made as follows. No parking anytime on the left side, the south side of this public way. Parking will be allowed on the right side, the north side of the public way.
Very good. Police Department is recommending that we go through with this. Is there a motion?
Motion to send to the full council to order public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Officer, I'm going to move this along a little more quickly, so I'm going to go and change it up a little bit so we can get it done. We've got...
So
allow me, so this one right here on document 413, is that your next one, 41323?
Yes.
So 413, the ultimate here is you're recommending that this request be granted, and this is for resident parking on East Haverhill Street to include the residents of 108 East Haverhill Street. All the information on here goes into greater detail, but your ultimate is you support this proposal, 41323. Okay. I'm looking for a motion. Is this your district? Whose district is that? You have East Haverhill Street?
So do you want an
Nope.
explanation, or you good?
Nope, we're gonna go.
That one is B.
Does anybody have any questions on this one? No, okay, there's no questions?
Okay.
I'm looking for a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. What do you got, 414? Is that what you have next?
414,
So 414, what is this one?
just to withdraw.
withdraw, this
She's
is
at
easy.
LHA, and they have their own restrictions, and they took care of her need of
Perfect.
being able to give her a handicap. So it's not city property.
Looking for a motion to send this up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw. Motion made by Councilor Del
Second.
Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. Hearing now, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This one right here is an ordinance that you're supporting for a handicap parking sign in front of 8 Ferguson Street. That's actually
Yes.
my district. Any questions on this one for the officer while he's here? Yeah, sure. The document number is 41523. 415. 8 Ferguson Street. Recommended. Is there a motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing? Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the vice chair. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 416, officer?
It's for resident parking, West Street, from Alden Court all the way to Florence Street, both sides of the public way, and I do recommend.
So this was put on by Councilor Del Rosario. This is in your district, Councilor. It looks like the officer is recommending resident parking. I'm just hopeful that we have your conversation with your constituents and make them aware about that 1 year. We got to figure out what we're doing with that, but, do you want to make a motion?
Motion to send to a full council to order public hearing.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. 41623. If I'm you're doing a great job, Pat. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I can slow it down. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 416, resident parking, favorable recommendation. 42023. This is for handicap parking. You recommended this is going to be granted, Officer Cano?
Yes,
At
correct.
59 Lexington Street? Okay.
Correct.
Motion to send to the full council with further recommendation to order public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by the vice chair. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Pat, I'll slow down, I'm sorry. That was for, in case you were wondering, that was for 420. That was 420. This one is 422. Let me know when you got it. 422? While we're waiting, when is that book signing going to be done? Pat, when is that book signing about the 16? When is that happening? Yeah. On the 10th. All right, did you get it? I'm going to make a public service announcement the next time you get a break. Yeah, 422, you got it? 422. let me know. So, we have a street sign named after Pat's uncle, Patty O'Donohue. They wrote a book. He was very prominent in this book. They're giving you a talk about this book on the 10th. His story was amazing. There was a movie made, and he got totally rooked on that won all these Academy Awards back in 1941. Are you ready, Pat? Good. All right. It's a wonderful story. Let's get back to business. I was just stalling while you were looking for it. Okay. 422, 234 High Street. That's you, right? Yeah. Finally, I got you. 234 High Street, handicap parking. You're saying, Officer Cano, you support this.
That's correct. Support.
Support. Any questions? Motion? Want to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to send to the full council in high public hearing.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. See no discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 440.
425?
Wow. This one looks like it's a little more complex.
425 or 440?
I've got 440 on my sheet. Do you have that?
Anybody got 425? No, 424 we got rid of because it was 309, remember?
Are we skipping to 425?
Well, we should.
Okay, 425 is three from the bottom.
All right, so,
This is once you get it. This is, you support this one?
correct.
Handicap parking at 31 Exchange Street, you support it. Document 42523. Pat, you got 42523? Okay, good. I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to send to a full council with favorable recommendation to order a public hearing.
Motion
Second.
made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no, the ayes have it.
440?
440, okay. This looks complex. Oh,
No,
yeah,
this
let's
is
do
not-
this one.
This is an easy one.
All right, go ahead. I like this one. We talked about it.
Okay, so so thinking about and knowing that there's a lot of accidents over on Winthrop Avenue, I suggested and I put into ordinance along with discussion with Chief Castro and the mayor regarding this no left turn as you're coming out of either Taco Bell, Wendy's, Dunkin' Donuts, or any of the businesses that are there. There are four: Taco Bell, Wendy's, Dunkin' Donuts, and AA Auto Repair. The idea is that people are taking a left, going against two lanes of travel lanes, going over the double yellow line, and getting into accidents somewhere in between. So this idea is putting up signs at the driveway of each business, informing the operators of those vehicles that if they exit, they have to take a right. They have to go in a safe way, go down the road, and go turn around in a way that is going to be appropriate for the traffic in order to avert delays as well as accidents. And that's what this is, the purpose for this. So that when we go, we can, obviously, they're going to have two things against them. One, they're violating the signs that are there. And two, they technically wouldn't have an excuse because they're doing marked lanes violations anyway, going over the double yellow lines.
So, we talked about this. So, is an ordinance required if it's already unlawful to do it? Do we have to create a law when a law already exists?
Well, I think that it would be helpful to give people the idea that they shouldn't be taking a left there. If you put up the sign, they may obey it, they may not. But if it's in their presence, what's their excuse when they do get into an accident?
Have you gone to the city attorney on this for that legal question? Just because you're putting it on well, you can put it on public property, I guess, but you're leaving private property and you're going to make a right turn. This is in my district, you all know that. This is on South Union, on Winthrop Ave. So I just want to make sure that we're doing this lawfully. Did we get approval by the city attorney? Does he understand this dynamic?
It's been a little while, so I don't remember. We could, if you don't mind, we could send it to him for approval. or
Just want to
guidance?
get his recommendation on it
That
and see
sounds-
how that is. This is definitely impacting my neighborhood, and I think it's in good concept, so I want to see that happen. I'm looking for a motion to send this to the city attorney for a review of this ordinance proposal. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by the vice chair.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
It's something on those lines, it's nothing to do with that, and now they have Officer Cano here. It's great to see this being done. I mean, I don't know how that impact, but it's impacting my district coming out of Broadway's Leakers, going into Manchester, people were turning to left. And I was trying to somehow initiate that conversation with somebody to put a sign there that said, do not turn left. So now that this is brought up, so it's a good thing that once it's finalized by the city attorney, so I can go back.
That'd be great. I'd love to take that on and put it in writing and bring it before you.
It would be great. I mean, I talked to the ex-consular, Jorge Gonzalez, which works at there, and he had no idea of basically how this could happen, but now seeing it here, it's pretty good.
I think common sense, if there's no traffic light to guide you and stop traffic, you should be going with the traffic, not against it. And when you do that, you risk yourself, you risk your family, you risk, obviously, your property, getting into an accident. And
We have those fiascos there. We have a couple of accidents, also traffic, because, as you're saying, turning left, they block both lines, the one going north and the one going south, so it's great. Thank you, Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're running out of time. 448-23. 448-23.
It's 205 South Union Street for 15 minutes. This I do not recommend. There's a metered space, so I gave him the option that he can talk to the metered company and also the mayor's office to see what they can do to help him either pay for the metered space until the meter closes, but I'm not opposed. I do grant the fact that he can get a 15-minute, the signs for after the meter time, because that way his business stays open from 6 till 10. So he should have space available to him after the meters. So I do recommend that I do recommend it for after the meter time.
So we can
So-
amend this. We can amend this to be from 6:01 to 10 PM for 15 minutes or for,
He requested 15 minutes, I believe,
is it residents there or just all businesses?
for two 15-minute parking signs. It's mixed use, but this whole street is all mixed use. It's,
So you would recommend 15-minute parking between 6 and 10 at night?
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
So I'm looking for an amendment to this proposal to allow for a 15-minute parking between Monday through all week,
7 days a week, yeah?
7 days a week, 15-minute parking from 6 to 10 PM, two slots. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion for that? Motion made, we got to repeat this for Pat. Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Santiago. Discussion?
May
Yeah.
I suggest that we send this up to the attorney just for his guidance, because they may not want to put signs all throughout, but at least he'll take a look and say yes or no.
Sure.
I just, on the side of caution.
So Pat, so this is what the motion is. The motion is that from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock all week at nighttime, 2 spots at this location, 15-minute parking restrictions. I'm looking for that, according to the officer, to go to the attorney, city attorney. You make that, amend your motion to go to the city attorney? Yeah. Motion's been amended, withdrawn, and then amended to send it to the city attorney, not to the full council, to the city attorney. Is there, so that's the motion. I'll call the question, going to the city attorney. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is 449-23-114 Bailey Street. Recommended that this be approved.
Correct.
Motion to send to full council to order a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded by the vice chair. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 467, I'll slow down, sorry, Pat. 46723? Or give a question on the
I
other one?
have 445 and then 450.
$445 is the last two. 445, Pat, let me know when you're ready.
This one is to withdraw.
You set? 445 is dealing with 375 Haverhill Street. It was a handicap parking. Now the recommendation is to withdraw this. Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, why are we withdrawing this?
He
Quickly.
didn't want it in the street.
He wanted it withdrawn.
Yes,
Okay.
the petitioner.
Gotcha. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. So we're withdrawing. Okay. Document 450,
Yes. Handicap parking,
same thing?
the same thing, withdrawn.
Okay, withdraw because the guy wants it withdrawn, whoever wants it withdrawn.
I
Okay.
spoke to the petitioner.
Got it. I'm looking for a motion.
So move.
Motion to withdraw made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That's 450. Did you get it, Pat? Let me know when you're ready. That was a motion to withdraw. Unanimous. 467?
Yes, that's also for withdrawal. He lives in housing, and they were able to take care of his needs.
Looking for a motion?
Motion to send to full council with intent to withdraw.
Second.
Made to withdraw. 467, it's been seconded by Councilor Santiago. Let me know when you're ready. You set, Pat? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Got it? All right. 111?
111, yep. So 111 is for, no, we already did that, right? Bennett Street? We did 112 as well, and 113. So we did all of them. I have 2 minutes, what should I do?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by the Vice Chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion on the motion. This is, I see this January 23rd. Can you go beyond that? Motion is made for the minutes adopted, made properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10 o'clock. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Aye.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, Councilor Reyes, I'll take care of that other one.